Hi guys, so in this video we're going to look at equations involving fractions. Okay, so when solving equations involving fractions, we multiply both sides of the equation by a suitable number or a letter, right? So if we have, for example, 5 over x minus 1 plus 2 is equal to 12. First thing that we do is to group like terms together. So we'll remain with 5 over x minus 1 is equal to 12 minus 2. Remember, when we move 2 to the other side, it becomes negative 2. All right, so having said that, we'll then remain with 5 over x minus 1 is equal to 10. And when we multiply by x minus 1 on both sides, so we will have something like this, x minus 1, right? We multiply this side also by x minus 1. All right, so that gives us 5 on the left side because this is going to cancel out with this. And on the right side, we remain with 10x minus 1. And we're going to expand this. We have 10x minus 10. And if we take 10 to the other side, we remain with 15 is equal to 10x. Then we divide both sides by 10 to remain with x is equal to 15 over 10, which is the same as 1.5. Okay, so we're going to look at another example. I'm going to show you another way of solving equations that involve fractions. So we have an example here whereby we are asked to solve x plus 3 over 4 is equal to 2x minus 1 over 3. So in this case now, if we have an equation like this, what we're going to do is to cross multiply. That's the simplest way of doing it. All right, we cross multiply. So when you cross multiply, we are going to multiply these together and multiply these together. So we end up with 3 multiplied by x plus 3 is equal to 4 multiplying 2x minus 1. Then we expand our brackets. We have 3x plus 9 is equal to 8x minus 4. Now we group like terms together and we remain with 9 plus 4 is equal to 8x minus 3x. 9 plus 4 is 13, which is equal to 8x minus 5 minus 3x. That gives us 5x. Then we divide both sides by 5 so that we get our x value. Our x is equal to 13 over 5 or 2 and 3/5. Okay, so the simplest way to solve equations with fractions like this, you simply cross multiply. All right, so we're going to do a couple of examples whereby we'll be using this concept. So example number 2, we have 7 over x is equal to 21. So this is the same as 7 over x is equal to 21 over 1, right? And we cross multiply, whereby we end up with 7 is equal to 21x. Divide both sides by 21. And we remain with 7 over 21. Then we simplify this, divide the numerator and the denominator by 7, and we end up with 1 over 3. So I want you to note something, okay, that what we have just done is the same as if we had done it this way. 7 over x is equal to 21. Remember, I said we multiply by a certain number or a letter, right? So if we have x at the bottom, x is our denominator, we multiply the equation by x, right? And what we do on the left, we also do on the right. So at the end of the day, this cancels out with this, and we're left with 7 is equal to 21 times x, which is 21x. Then we divide by 21 and we get the same answer. Okay, so you just do what works better for you. However, we get the same answer, and I prefer to cross multiply because it is much more easier, especially when the equations are a bit complicated. All right, so let's do another example, number 3, whereby we have x over 3 is equal to 5 over 4. So that concept again of cross multiplying, we end up with 4x is equal to 3 times 5, that is 15. So you divide by 4 on both sides, and we have x is equal to 4 into 13, that is 3, remainder 3. So that's 3 and 3 over 4. Okay, another example, we have 3x plus 1 over 5 is equal to 2x over 3. So we cross multiply, whereby we have 3x plus 1 is equal to 5 multiplying 2x. All right, we expand the brackets. 3 times 3, that's 9x, plus 3 times 1, that's 3, is equal to 5 times 2, that's 10x. So grouping like terms together, we have 9, we take it to the other side, and that will become 10 minus 9x, that gives us x. So our value of x is equal to 3. Okay, so let's look at another example. Right, so we have x over 3 plus x over 2 is equal to 4. Now in this case, we cannot cross multiply. All right, so now we bring in the first concept, whereby we have to multiply our fractions by a certain number or by a certain letter. So here we have two denominators, we have 3 and 2. So we find the lowest common denominator, right, that we can get. So we have 3 and 2. Our lowest common denominator would be 6. So we multiply by 6. So we multiply this by 6. We also multiply this by 6, and we multiply this by 6. So whatever you do on one, you also do on all the other. And that would then leave us 3 into 6, that is 2. So 2 times x, that gives us 2x. And then 2 into 6, that's 3. 3 times x, that gives us 3x, is equal to 4 times 6, that is 24. Now we have 2 and 3 on the left side. So that's 2 plus 3x, that gives us 5. X is equal to 24. Then we divide both sides by 5, and we get our value as 24 over 5, which is the same as 4 over 5. Okay, so that is what we do when we have a fraction like this, where we are adding fractions to give us a certain number, and we want to find the value of x. All right, so another quick one. So we have 1 over 3 multiplying x plus 2 is equal to 1 over 5 multiplying 3x plus 2. We have fractions on the outside of the bracket. So we do the same thing. We look for the common denominator of 3 and 5, right? The lowest. It's the same as finding the lowest common multiple. So we have 3 and 5. So that common multiple that we're looking for is 15. So we multiply the right side by 15, and you also multiply the left side by 15. Okay, So what you do on one side, you also do on the other. Then 3 into 15, that is 5. So now we're left with 5 this side. 5 into 15, that is 3. And we're left with 3 this side. So that then gives us 5x plus 2 is equal to 3x plus 2. We expand, we remain with 5x plus 10 is equal to 9x plus 6. So now grouping like terms together, we have 10 minus 6 on this side is equal to 9x minus 5x. We remain with 4 is equal to 9x minus 5x, that is 4x. So we divide both sides by 4 and we remain with x is equal to 1. The last example, we have x minus 1 over 4 minus 2x minus 3 over 5 is equal to 1 over 20. So now we have 3 denominators, okay? So the principle is the same. We look for the lowest common denominator of 4, 5, and 20. And that common denominator is 20. So you multiply this by 20. You also multiply this by 20. And you also multiply this by 20. Okay. So 4 into 20, that is 5. 5 into 20, that is 4. And then 20 into 20, that is 1. So that leaves us with 5x minus 1 minus the 4 that we got. 2x minus 3 is equal to 1 times 1, that is 1. We expand the brackets, that's 5x minus 5 minus 4 times 8, that's 8x. Minus and minus gives us a positive. So 4 times 3, that's 12, is equal to 1. Now we have 5x minus 5 minus 8x plus 12. So if we group like terms, we're going to take the bigger one to the other side. So we will remain on the right side with 8x minus 5x. And then on the left side, we have 12 minus 5 minus 1 that we took from the right side. So we have 12 minus 5 minus 1. That gives us 6 is equal to 8x minus 5x as 3x. Divide both sides by 3. And we're left with x is equal to 2. So that is how we deal with equations that have fractions. So remember the steps. We multiply to cancel out that fraction, okay? We multiply by a number or a letter, if it's x, for example, right? And this number is usually the lowest common multiple. After that, we now expand the brackets and solve for x. See you in the next video.